But what does bring me a lot of joy is, taking my mom to the places that she's always wanted to go to and building those memories with her. And those are the memories, and those are the things that matter the most. Not your possessions, not what you have. It's all about building memories. And I have, a handful.
It's stage 4 breast cancer that spread into my bones.
When Shannen Doherty's cancer progressed, she knew her time was running out. Realizing the importance of the people she loved most, she decided to give up on some of her dreams and focus on cherishing her final moments with her mother, brother, nieces, friends, and even sought peace with some old enemies.
So we were in Tennessee, and I was packing up one of the places there, and it was really hard, and it was really emotional because, to a certain extent, I felt like I was giving up on this dream. I was giving up on this dream of, building this property out and putting a house for me and a house for my mom, and then extending the barn and rescuing horses and having a sanctuary for, hopefully enough land eventually that I would keep buying to help rescue all these horses that are abandoned by their owners. That was one of my dreams of starting to help rescue and take some of the relief off of all these other amazing rescues, like Return to Freedom and All Seated in the Barn. And so I was packing up, and I started crying because, again, I felt like I was giving up on a dream. And what did that mean for me? Did it mean that I was giving up on life? Did it mean that I was throwing in the towel?
This profound realization taught her that the accolades and achievements she'd worked so hard for held little significance in her final days. What truly mattered were the friendships she formed and the memories she created. However, during her most vulnerable times, some of her friends distanced themselves, unable to bear the weight of her burdens.
Surprisingly, I lost friends over cancer. People who didn't show up. People who definitely went, no, you're just not fun anymore. You're sick. You're not drinking, and you're talking about cancer. And I don't want to hear you talk about cancer. I want to talk about me.
Tragically, Shannen also lost her marriage. After 11 years together, her husband, Kurt Iswarienko, betrayed her by cheating during her darkest days. This betrayal forced Shannen to file for divorce and demand spousal support. Yet, Kurt prolonged the divorce, seemingly hoping she would die before he had to pay.
Finally had to come to that hard truth and file for divorce, and it was embarrassing. I was, I'm horrified that I can't keep a relationship together. I think it's like a reflection on me. Although I kind of this one, I don't know. I think it's on him. But still, I don't want to be a failure in life. I've failed 3 times at marriage, and I still believe in love.
Shannen bravely confronted this heartache in court documents. It is simply not right that Kurt be permitted to prolong our divorce in hopes that I die before he is required to pay me. As her time dwindled and Kurt continued to stall, she decided to make peace. She waived her right to spousal support and agreed to an uncontested dissolution. She settled the divorce on July 12th and, tragically, passed away the following day. Kurt signed the documents on July 13th, the day Shannen died, ensuring he would not have to pay. In her final days, Shannen also mended her relationship with her longtime frenemy, Alyssa Milano. She praised Alyssa for bringing much-needed levity to their time on the supernatural drama Charmed.
Loved the presentation. I thought like everybody was great. But when Alyssa came in, it provided like a levity that I think the show ended up needing. You're like, of course she believes she's a witch immediately.
Shannen's life, like many of ours, was a tapestry of joy and sorrow. In 2010, she lost her beloved father, John Thomas Doherty, at the age of 66.
My father was the most loyal, stand-up, honest, amazing human being that ever walked this earth.
5 years later, in 2015, Shannen was diagnosed with breast cancer. After going into remission with chemotherapy, her cancer returned in 2019 as stage 4.
I am having to go back on chemo, and it's really hard. Like the idea of going through that all over again has wrecked me. Sorry? I'm going to pause for a second.
I'm pretty scared.
Adding to her grief, she lost her friend and former co-star Luke Perry in 2019.
For me to be diagnosed and then somebody who was, seemingly healthy to go first, it was really shocking.
In April 2021, she discovered her husband's infidelity, compounding her suffering.
I felt so betrayed. At the end of the day, I just felt so incredibly unloved by someone that I loved with all my heart.
I've been thrown a lot of curveballs and ones that I never expected in a million years.
I also spoke to the girlfriend of 2 years that he cheated on me with, which is a whole other episode.
Despite these trials, Shannen remained resilient and positive. She continued to live a life full of encouragement and kindness, advocating for others to do the same. She spoke often about the importance of doing good and being good as a way to prepare for eternity.
I'm not afraid of death because I know where I'm going. I know, the people that I'm going to see. I think I would be afraid of death if I wasn't a good person, but I am.
Facing her mortality with courage, Shannen made detailed plans for her funeral. She listed people she didn't want at her send-off, requested to be cremated, and asked for her ashes to be mixed with those of her father and her dog. She wished for her loved ones to celebrate her life rather than mourn her death. On June 13th, 2024, the world lost Shannen Doherty. She is survived by her dear mother and her only sibling, Shannen Doherty. Her legacy of strength, resilience, and kindness lives on in the hearts of those who loved her.